Hello, everybody. This is Lisa Stansberry. I was requested to by a friend of mine to show my process of how I make glass and landscapes and whatever. I'm into flowers now, so I thought I would just do a quick video, a quick artist share for the group, as we haven't had one in a while and kind of miss it. So I thought I'd show you my process. So put the, before we get started though on my process, I wanted to kind of go over the elements of glass. So in the stained glass world, we as artists, we don't actually stain our glass. We buy it all ready to go in a myriad of different colors and textures. And so it comes in all different forms. It comes in sheets. This would be a sheet glass. And this one here is kind of, when you hold it up to the light, you have a lot of light coming through it and a lot of like this cloudy space. It just really gives it a lot of depth, and depending on the art piece that you're looking to do. Okay. This is just going to be quite big. I won't get into the science of the glass fusing because it's quite in depth. Glass also comes in different forms as far as what's called frit. This is considered a mosaic frit, and those are nice. Let me see if I can get that up to you. Nice big chunks. Now I could take a sheet glass and make my own frit, but honestly, it's a lot of energy and a lot of time to make that happen. But in the event that I need a color, don't have a color, can't get to the store to get the color, I can definitely make my own frit. But here's mosaic size. These are nice, big, large chunks. The next size is going to be what's called coarse. And they're a little bit finer, smaller than the mosaic. These also come in every color imaginable, just about. This is medium, so it gets even smaller. And, you know, it costs a little more to buy it this way as opposed to making my own, because of the process taking to make it. So, but if you use a lot, like I use a lot, it definitely is cost effective to buy it all ready to go. And these fire all differently as well. So the other artist in the room that I won't introduce you to today is the kiln. The kiln does, depending on the temperature I ask it to go to, plays a huge part on the finished product. Okay, this is called fine frit. So this is just like salt and pepper type of granularity. And my favorite, which is the most expensive, of course, is powder frit. So this is just literally like flour in glass that you can add water to or not, and kind of use it sort of like paints. It doesn't blend its colors like paints, but it does have a lot more fluidity to it. Okay, so that's the basics of that. Also, we have a myriad of tools that we use. We have a glass cutter. Now, I was looking at my tools recently. These are my original tools. I've been doing glass for 10 years, and these are all my originals, and they really kind of show it. These are really like, I'm kind of hard on my tools. These are runners, so when I'm cutting long scores, this is what I would use. And if I'm just cutting off a smaller score, this is what I would use to cut that. And I actually have a whole table that I won't show you as far as a lot of other different tools. So what I'm going to show you is, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the techniques we use in glass. So I'm going to show you how I made the Tombstone rose piece. Okay, everything that I use technique-wise on this is free on the YouTube. You can find it. Personally, I've spent a lot of money on learning certain techniques from certain world-renowned artists that I will not ever share unless you've taken the class as well. But if you go out on YouTube, there's just a ton of stuff available. So you don't really need to worry about it as long as you find it on YouTube. Okay. So what I'm going to show you first, I'm going to have to, for the branches on this piece here, this was actually one of the hardest things that I finally accomplished. I've been doing this. This is called Tombstone Rose, but in actuality, if you turn it, well, maybe not this piece. It could be very well a Van Gogh almond blossom, or you can get into the Monet Rose series, all of which are my utmost favorite. So, but it's simple and it's elegant and it's a lot of fun to do. So the way I do the branches is I finally figured out, I struggled with it on many pieces. I found this really cool mold. And then the molds are, and I filled the mold with chunks of glass, fired it up at a full fuse meaning 1500 degrees, and it comes out like this. Now it's just a matter of, fine tuning the colors that you want and all that for the finished product. I do a lot of testing. This is not a cheap hobby or art form to have. So you kind of want to do a lot of testing to make sure before you go into a big piece that how it's going to look. So there's no surprises. Okay. Also, another tool. So that's the basic branch that I use. And then to get a little more fluidity, I'll take strips of glass and I'll use, I won't do this in the house and I won't demo it. Let's see here. But I take strips of glass and I take it to my map thrower, my flame thrower map gas thingy. Take it outside and I just, when it's not a windy day, that's what I do. You can find me on the front porch pulling all different kinds of stringers for glass. Okay. This makes really cool branches or ocotillos or whatever it is that I'm working on because of the organicness. There's nothing that ever is going to come out the same as the last piece. So, okay. Put these aside. I'm going to run to the freezer real quick because the way I did the roses, the way I made the roses was off of YouTube. It's called Freeze and Fuse. I think that's the name of that technique. I'm not really sure. It's really a cool technique. The possibilities are endless on that. And you'll see why in just a second. Let me run to the freezer because it's waiting for us. Okay, so in I guess it's the fondant world, you can find all these really cool, flexible type of, I forget the molds, fondant type of molds where they fill it with frosting and then they can just pop it out and pop it onto your cake. Well, in the glass world, we can do is we fill that. Some of them are filled. I'm going to show you in just a second right here. I filled that with a little bit of powdered glass and a little water. And I stuck it in the freezer for probably about an hour. And then I'm going to lift it out. Hopefully. There we go. And you have a rose. Now it's frozen, so I'm going to put it on my kiln shelf right now. Okay, let me show you. I stuck it right on my kiln shelf, and I will not touch that again until after it's fired, because once it thaws out, it goes back to being a powder, and I will lose, if I touch it, you lose all of your shape and detail on that. So I'm just going to pop these out real quick before I lose them. That one's a good one. Okay. Just a perfect little rose. Love this technique. This technique, and as you know, you're really only bound by the molds that you get. Okay, and then for this particular piece, I know that, you know, I've got these molds that have a whole leaf, like that one, or I really just want a little leaf peeking out. So I don't really need to waste all the glass on a whole leaf. So I literally just did little half leaves. And I can take them out. Let's see if I can get a good one here. Those are a little light. See? Just got a little half leaf. That's all you need. Get these out real quick so we can get on to the actual piece itself. Okay, now I'm going to put that all aside so it's out of the way. Put that aside. I'm working off of my dining room table here because my shop is a disaster as usual. Okay, so I'm making a larger tombstone rose. This piece here is 4 inches by 12 inches. And then once I do it's called a contour fuse, which adheres all these pieces to this background glass. Then what I do is a slump and I put it on a mold to give it that stand up. It's a whole different, separate firing. That'll get, once this is done, then it'll go into slumping, okay? I'll leave that there. So here we are on a bigger piece. This is probably, I don't know, 10 by 12. And as you can see, maybe you can't, I have, all the branches are in. This is my pile that I'm working with, so don't mind that. And I got the big roses in. I've got some medium-sized roses in. I got a little bit of leaves in. And basically, what I do with that, once, push you back a little bit, I just take a little bit of glue. That's Elmer's school glue, clear. And say I want to add on, I just tack that on there a little bit and find a home for it. And we're going to call right there. Stick that underneath there. So I'm going to go around until I'm satisfied with all the pieces being in place, simply with a little bit of tack glue. And then I'm going to put it into the kiln for a contour fuse, which is what this one was, to adhere all these flowers and branches and leaves to the background glass. And that temperature is about, I don't know, probably about 1,360 degrees. And then once that's tacked down, then I can go through and slump it like I've slumped this piece. And it'll be able to stand up on its own in a gallery near you. So that's just it in a quick nutshell. There's in the glass world, the techniques are just, the amount of techniques you can do is really just amazing. And like I said, with every different types of glass that you use, large frit, small frit, it all turns out different in the kiln. So what I'll do is I'll post a picture of this bigger piece of the Tombstone Rose. I'll post it on the Facebook page, and you can all see the end result. Okay, just keep it as short as I possibly can, and I hope to see you all soon. Oops. Okay. And I hope you all are having a healthy quarantine. It's almost over, hopefully. We'll be through this in 2 weeks, tops, I think, I hope. But we'll see what happens. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be checking it out and be happy to answer your questions. See y'all later. Bye.